Good morning, children. Good morning, everyone. How did you do your cycle test? Biology cycle test, how did you do? How did you do your biology cycle test? Easy? You did well? Did well, okay. Yes? Okay. So, did you honestly write the test without seeing the material? Did you honestly write the test without seeing the material? Everyone? Yes? But I feel that few of them have seen the material. Okay, see, if you know the content very well, you should be able to answer the objectives and the question answer part equally, isn't it? But few of you have done the question answer part well, but the objective part you didn't do it well. What does it mean? I asked all the objectives from inside the book. I think you know that very well, isn't it? I didn't ask from the textbook. I asked all the objectives from inside the book to just test you whether you understood the lesson. Okay, so I think 60% of you have done it very well, the objectives, and remaining have not done their objectives well, but they have written their question answers part well. How is that? Not even a single spelling mistake is there in their papers. Children, remember one thing. I am seeing you from 7th standard. Individually, I know your ability, how you will write, how you will present. I know that. How Ranjana will do, how Jocelyn will do, how Alvin, Ranjit, Arunachalam, everybody, I know how you will write. I can make out very easily whether you have studied and wrote or copied. Children, be honest. You're not writing the exam for our sake. Is it for your knowledge? When you go and stand for any interview or when you go for higher studies, no? Then if you don't know anything, what you're going to get, what job you will be going? Good morning, Anshika. So children, please be honest, children. Even if you get 5 marks, okay, I'm very happy that you have done the test honestly. Next time you can learn very well and write. Again, don't do that. I didn't say everybody. Okay, I can make out. Many have written their test very honestly. I'm talking about a very few. Yes, children. Yes, I'll be sending your marks, children. No problem. Okay, I'm sending your marks. Many have secured full marks. Many 24, 24 and off. Many are there. Okay, very good, children. As usual, I know few children. No, I used to say about those children. They have done it very neatly, neat presentation. Okay. Yes, Ram. Done well. Okay, neat presentation is there. So one paper was very, very neat. I think Jocelyn Martina. Really have to give an applause clap for her. Jocelyn paper was very neat. Handwriting was so legible, but was very neat. Don't think so others didn't do it well. No. Okay. Today you'll be getting the marks, children. Okay, I am talking about the presentation part. Okay, presentation was very good in Jocelyn's paper. It was very eye-catchy. The handwriting was so legible. Even Niranjana, Shrija, then I think it is Ritu, Rini. They also have done it neatly. But a 5% extra, I should say, for Jocelyn. It was very neat. That's all. Yes, children. Now we can I'll let you know. I'll let you know, Ram. Okay, today you'll be getting it by all means. Okay. Yes. Now, children, the first unit was new to you all. You didn't learn that unit in 8th, 7th, or 6th, but very new to you all, isn't it? Same way, the second unit is also new to you all. Very, very important unit. You have to understand that unit very well. Then only you can understand the remaining part of 9th standard, 10th standard, and all those things. Okay? Because it deals with the tissues. Different types of tissues. Please concentrate well. Take the notes. Okay, please concentrate well. Yes, please, I will be going very slow only because it's very important lesson. Okay. It's about organization of tissues. Okay. Student, listen carefully to the introductory part. Okay. Organization of tissues. So in last unit, we saw about different levels of organization. I hope you will remember that. Okay, what we saw? First, we saw the cellular level. First, we saw the cellular level where we came across the unicellular organisms. Where we came across unicellular organisms. That is, one cell was capable of performing all life activities. Isn't that? Isn't that? Do you remember? So when we say unicellular, that one cell will carry out all the life activities. The one cell will breathe, that will feed, that will digest, okay, that will do all sides life activities. They don't have any organs. Okay, that is called cellular level. Then what we saw? Then we saw that multicellular forms. Then we came across multicellular forms. Okay, where we saw that, for example, poriferans. Okay, for example, poriferans, where we saw was made up of many groups of cells. Okay, each group of cells perform one function. All, but listen carefully, all the cells were similar. Okay, they all looked similar. No difference at all. Okay, all the cells have the same structure. Okay, the cells were similar in nature. There was no difference at all. You cannot make out any difference. The first cell was similar to the last cell. Okay, but they had many thousands of cells. So what do? They do each group of that, they divided them into different groups. Each group of cells did a particular work. One group looked after respiration, one group looked after excretion, one group looked after digestion. But all cells were similar. We see a multicellular. Got it? Then the next thing what we saw about the tissue level. We saw about the tissue level, that is seal and plates we saw. So what is the tissue level? For example, we can draw the jellyfish. Okay. For example, we can draw the jellyfish. Okay, what we saw here, they also have millions of cells, but they were tissue level. So what is a tissue? See, they divided themselves into different groups. See, these are also group of cells, but each group is different. Each group is different in structure. Okay, here all were similar in structure, but here each group is different in structure. Okay, see, one cell had a cilia. Okay, one cell was very long. Okay, so the cells were different in clear. That only we call as tissues. You may be wondering, this is also a group of cell. This is also a group of cell. So why we call that as multicellular and this as tissue? Because these group of cells were different in structure. Okay, according to the function they perform. According to the function they perform. Okay, so what is a tissue? Tissue is a group of cells that are, all the cells are, see this, if you take one tissue, see if you take one tissue, the cells in the one tissue are similar. Okay, but this tissue is different from the other tissue. The other tissue have a different variety of cell, but all the cells are similar. Okay, the cells inside the tissue are similar. Okay, but the cells in different tissues are different in structure. Got it, children? Everybody understood this point? Everyone understood this point? Okay, see, in multicellular, all cells are similar. There is no difference at all. But in tissue, each group of cell is different from one another, but each tissue has similar cells. Okay. Yes, Adarshika, I'll say once again, no problem. You have to understand, that is my point. Okay. See, in multicellular level, all the cells are similar in structure. They are similar in structure. Okay, so if they are spherical, all are spherical, all are similar in structure. No difference at all. See, this group and this group and this group, all three groups have similar cells. There is no difference. But when you talk about tissues, no, tissues, see, this is tissue number 1, tissue number 2, tissue number 3, tissue number 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, see, each tissue is different from one another. Okay, the cells inside the tissue are similar. Okay, if this tissue number 1 has spherical cells, tissue number 2 has longitudinal cells, flat cells. Okay, tissue number 3, it has longitudinal cells. Clear? See, each tissue has one type of cell, but inside the tissue, all are equal, all are similar. Clear? That's what we say tissues. So what is a tissue? A tissue is a group of cells. What is a tissue? A tissue is a group of cells which is similar in structure and function. Okay, so tissue, this is one tissue. Tissue is a group of cells similar in structure and function. But each tissue is different. Got it? So repeat the definition after me. Tissue is a group of cells similar in structure and function. Say again, tissue is a group of cells similar in structure and function. Okay, but see, each tissue is different. Got it, children? Got it? So it is called tissue grade of organization. Okay, so what is the next thing we had? We had organ. So what is this organ means? See here tissue. Each tissue will take care of one function. For example, see, this is a nervous tissue. It will take care only nervous function. It is digestive tissue. It takes care only digestive function. Okay, so it is respiratory tissue. Take care of only respiratory tissue function. Okay, but it is tissue name is not that. We have nervous tissue, muscular tissue, epithelial tissue. Epithelial tissue means it forms the outer covering of the organ. It's like skin. Okay, nervous tissue will carry the message to the brain. Muscular tissue will be in the muscle. Okay, so different tissues are there. So what is this organ now? What is this organ? That is one organ. Take for example, stomach. We can take stomach as example. See, this is the stomach. This is the organ. See, the stomach organ is made up of many tissues. Okay, so what is an organ? An organ is a structure which is made up of many tissues. Clear? So what is an organ? An organ is a structure made up of many tissues. See, the outer lining, no? An outer lining will be of epithelium, like skin. Okay, inner to that stomach, no? we have gland cells to secrete the enzyme. We have gland cells. Clear? Then lining this stomach now, you'll be having blood vessels. Blood cells will be there. Okay. The stomach will be receiving the nerves. So nervous tissue is there. Clear? So an organ is made up of many tissues. Got it, children? Okay. Now what is an organ system? So what is an organ system? So we say digestive system. So what is present? See, it consists of pharynx, esophagus, then it consists of stomach, then intestine, and finally anus. So all this together we say organ system. See, pharynx, esophagus, stomach, intestine, anus, each one is an organ. All organ put together to form a system. Got it, children? Cell, multicellular, tissue, organ, and organ system. Got it, children? Yes, you can use. Got it, children? Okay. Now we are going to see about the tissues present in plants and animals. Okay, first you can see about the plant tissues. So plant is also a living thing, isn't it? So you can see about the plant tissues. We have a lot of difference between plant tissue and animal tissue. Clear? First you can see about plant tissue. When you say plant tissue, plant consists of two types of tissue. Okay, one is meristematic tissue. One is meristematic tissue. Another one is permanent tissue. Okay, one is meristematic tissue, other one is permanent tissue. Clear? So what is this meristematic tissue? See, meristose. Meristose means to divide. So what is meristose? Meristose means to divide. Okay, so in a plant, assume it as a plant. Okay, in a plant, you have the terminal bud, then you have a very small plant, children. Okay, very small plant. Okay, in a plant, you have the apical, the tip of the plant is there. Then you have that place where the leaf arises. We say stem. This place is called node. This place is called node. Node is a place from where leaves arise and new branches arise. Okay, tip is there. Then you have the root. Okay, so what is this meristem? Meristose means to divide. That is, these cells are capable of dividing. These cells are capable of dividing. Okay, so when see, first a seed. We take a seed. Okay, from a seed we get that baby shoot and baby root. Okay, in a seed we have the baby shoot and the baby root. Okay, what is that structure called? Plumule. Remember, I'll ask this in the exam. Remember that. Okay, the baby shoot is called plumule. It is plumule, the structure which give rise to the shoot system, stem. The baby root, that is the structure which give rise to the root is called radicle. Both will be present inside the seed. Okay, plumule is the baby shoot and radicle is the baby root. Don't forget this, I'll ask. Okay, I'll ask this. Clear? See, if this plumule structure now, it has only 100 cells. It has only 100 cells. Okay, can this 100 cell alone will be present in a very big tree? Okay, a very big tree. Yes, see, a seed contains an embryo. A seed contains an embryo. Embryo consists of two structures. Baby shoot is called plumule and baby root is called radicle. Got it, children? This plumule has only 100 cells. Okay. Can you say that this 100 cells alone is enough to give rise to a very big tree? Very big tree? No. If you say a very big tree, it has some millions of cells. It has millions of cells. So what has to be done there? What should happen there? These cells has to be divided again and again. This 100 cells should become 1,000 cells. 1,000 cells should become 10,000, lakh, 10 lakh, million. It will be going on like that. That's what we say as growth. That's what we say as growth. Okay, so which cell will divide? Only the meristematic cells will divide. Okay, which will divide? The meristematic cells will divide. The permanent cells will not divide. Clear? The meristematic cells alone will divide. They will keep on dividing and sending the cells below so that the plant will grow taller and wider. Taller and wider. Once the meristematic cells divide and send the cells below, they become the permanent cell. These permanent cells will not divide. Okay, so meristose means to divide. Where they are present? Where these cells are present? They are present in 3 regions. Okay, where they are present? They are present in 3 regions. Okay, see, this is the young plant is present. Assumes a young plant. Okay, then it consists of root. Okay, where these cells are present? See, there are 3 types of cells. One is present in the tip. One type of meristematic cell is present in the tip. That is called apical meristem. Apical means in the tip. That is called apical meristem. Or what taking down the notes? Okay. Second, see, it give rise to the leaves. I told you, no? Give rise to leaves and branches, no? It give rise to leaves and branches. Okay. Second type of meristem is present between the 2 nodes. See, this is one node, this is second node. The second type of meristem is present between the 2 nodes. We call this as intercalary meristem. It's called as intercalary meristem. Okay. Third type is present near the stem in the, see, like this lateral, in this area. Okay. This is the third type present in the lateral region. This is called lateral meristem. Okay, so what do they do? See, this apical meristem keeps on dividing and it will make the plant to grow taller. Okay, divide and give the cells down. Divide, give the cells down so that the plants will grow taller. Okay, what this intercalary meristem will be doing? This will divide and it will increase this length. See, first the length is very small. Then see, then the length will be like this. Then it will grow to a very long length. So it will divide and it will increase the length between the 2 nodes. Okay, so what this lateral meristem will do? It will keep on dividing and it will increase the breadth of the tree. First, little much only will be there. Then it will increase in length, breadth. Then it will grow wider. It will grow broader like this. They keep on dividing and they increase the breadth of the tree or plant. This will divide and increase the length between the 2 nodes. This will divide and it will make the plant grow taller. Clear? So once the cells are given down, no, they become the permanent cell. They won't divide. Got it, children? We understand where they are present. Got it? So you have some features of meristematic cells. So what are the features of meristematic cells? These cells are living cells. First one, they are living. Since they are living only, they are dividing. They are dead, they can divide. No, they are living cells. So they can divide. Okay. See, these cells can be in any shape. They can be oval in shape. Okay. They can be in polygonal shape. They can be in spherical shape. They can be in any shape. Okay, they can be in any shape. Second thing is, these cells have a thin-walled cells. The walls are not thick because they have to divide. No, they are very thin-walled cells with lot of cytoplasm. They have lot of cytoplasm because they keep on dividing. No, they have lot of cytoplasm. Clear? Fourth point is they undergo division. What type of division? It's called mitotic division. That is, mitotic division means to increase in growth division. Mitotic division. Okay. Finally, these cells know they don't store any food material. They don't store any food material. Okay. This is the characters of meristem. Characteristic features of meristem. It's a very important 4-mark question. Okay. Characteristic features of meristem. First one should be, these are the cells capable of dividing. They undergo mitotic division. They are living cells. They are in different shape. They are thin-walled with lot of cytoplasm. They will not store material, any food material, because their function is to divide alone. They're not storing. They won't store any food material. Got it, children? Got it? Any doubts? 2 more minutes are there. Any doubts? Yes? Okay. The second thing is this permanent tissue. Permanent tissue. So as I told you before, permanent tissue, no, they don't have the capability of dividing. No division will take place. Once they become permanent, they will not divide. They will remain, they will give that mechanical support to the plant. They will store food material, they will store water, they store air, but they will not divide. Okay, they will not divide. Okay, Rajashika. See, first point is they are capable of dividing. Mesosomatic cells can divide. They undergo mitotic division, that is growth division. Second point is they are living cells. Since they are living cells only, they can divide. Third point is they are of in different shape, spherical, polygonal, oval in shape. Fourth point is they will not store any food material. Okay, they will not store any food material. Okay, finally, they are thin-walled cells with lot of cytoplasm. Okay, lot of cytoplasm. Got it? Okay. Yes, children. So permanent tissues, they don't have the dividing ability. They have only storing ability, mechanicals giving mechanical support, and they perform other functions, but they will not divide until there is any emergency situation. What is that emergency situation? If any part is cut, if any part is injured, then again these permanent tissues will go back in as meristematic tissue. Okay, usually they will not divide. Okay, but when there is some emergency situation, like any cut is formed, any injury is there. Okay, at that time again this permanent tissue will change themselves into meristematic tissue and they divide. But they will not divide as permanent. They again change themselves into meristematic cells and then they divide. But not usually. Only in some unusual conditions. It may be any part is cut by us, okay, or any part is injured. It lost any part. Then it will again go back to meristematic cell, divided, it will repair its tissues and again become the permanent tissue. Got it, children? Got it? Yes, thank you, children. I'll be sending the marks today. You can go through the marks. Okay, thank you.